Hey guys, this is a little bit late, but here is the deck list that I use to get top 8 finish at the Ontario Springfest for Standard. And speaking of Springfest, I am working on a vlog for that, so be on the lookout for when that comes out. Now, without further ado, here is the deck profile. So, starting with the ride line, I am playing, like I said, the World Ride line. So, we are playing Cubicia and Rhodus. So Rhodus searches out the world order, and Cubicia, when you play a world order, you give 5k power to any one of your units. Now, I prefer this over the pure Gravidia ride line because I value the 15k body a lot more than searching for meteors and the random draw. While the random draw is nice and it still has the 5k power from activating the Grade 2's effect, I just didn't like having to use Soul Blast 3 for it, because that meant that anytime I wanted to use any other effect that required Soul, I would have to Soul Charge off of my meteors, and that just got me closer to deck out. So I just didn't like having that as an issue. And with Cubicia, and more specifically the Shadow Army token that you get from playing your World Order, it can provide a lot of pressure. Usually people don't like using a 15k shield to guard your Vanguard because 15k to their 8 or 10k is still a 1 to pass, so most people will just opt to just take the damage. And usually you're going to have a Grade 2 being boosted by the Shadow Army token. So a 15k column with a 25k column, usually you're always going to be pushing 2 damage. So that's kind of why I like this ride line a lot more, and I have no complaints about it. Moving on to Grade 3s, again, more copies of Gravidia Nordlinger. Persona Ride is still strong, and more importantly, you want more copies just because when it's placed on the Vanguard circle, you search your deck for 2 meteors, or up to 2 meteors, and you put them into your order zone. So searching the Grade 1 meteors gets you insane plus. Not only that you deck thin your deck of total of 2 non-shield, but being able to potentially draw into playable cards or even more shield in general is pretty strong. Its second effect, most of the time I just went with the 3 meteors. Gaining 15k in a crit is usually enough to threaten your opponent, and going up for 5 meteors, I only really went there if I had enough excess meteors that I could reliably, maybe retire another 3 meteors on my next turn, or if I was keeping track of my opponent's hand and I figured that they didn't have enough shield left, or rather a perfect guard. There have been times though when I have used the 5 meteors and I got no triggers, which is just the worst feeling in the world, but hey, that's just variance. And then the other Grade 3 that we play is 3 copies of the Baka Burrito. So it's when it's placed on rear guard, you Soul Blast 1 and you choose a meteorite from your drop and you put it into your order zone. This effect is very, very, very nice because not only does it recycle your meteors that you've used for your Nordlinger effect, but also allows you to use the meteors that you discarded during your ride line. So if you discarded let's say 2 meteors over the course of using your ride line, then if you play 2 of this, you've effectively played Soul Blast 2 for free, essentially, and so you haven't really lost any sort of card advantage. Bakurito also has an additional effect to gain 5k power if you retire 1 or more, and gain an extra crit if you retire 3 or more. However, most of the time my opponents never really committed more cards for me to retire. It's either that, or if they were playing Magnolia, they had NPEX, so I wasn't able to retire much of anything at all. So most of the time, it is just an 18k body that gets you back a meteor, and it's still relatively pretty nice. That's it for Grade 3s. Moving on to Grade 2s, I am playing 4 copies of Gravidia Standard. Now, I'm playing this card mainly as a meta call because I was player A. I expected to see a lot of Magnolias. And Magnolias hit for a lot of awkward numbers, such as Pantero and Inlet Pulses. They pretty much attack you for 18 and 19k, which demand 10k shield. And 10k shield in Overdress isn't really that common to have, so this is the main reason why I want to play this. It's just more shield, because with the amount of orders that you're playing, you're bound to just have less shield than other people, and so then if you get rushed down, then it's going to be very difficult. So that's the main reason why I want to play it, just additional shield. And then for the final grade 2, I am playing 2 copies of Gravidia Shergo. This card's mainly here just to recycle your meteors. So you pay Soul Blast 2 and you choose up to 5 meteors from your drop and you return them to the deck, and it gets 5k power at 1, 3, and 5 meteors that you return. Now, this card I didn't really use all that much because the Soul Blast 2 cost is kind of a lot, but in the cases where you drew a lot of your grade 1 meteors early and you still have, you know, your Persona rides left in hand, you do want to be able to search those out. So just having to shuffle them back is still a nice skill to have. I'm playing 2 mainly because in case I damage one, I still want to be able to see it. And with the amount of cards that this deck draws, you're bound to see at least one of it. So that's it for the grade 2s. On to grade 1s. Well, the only playable one that I play is Gravidia Wells. Now, this card's main function is that it helps me create numbers. So this behind a 10k makes 18, and then behind a 15, then it makes 23. And then also having it behind a Baka Burrito, if you use its effect to boost it up by 2k, it'll be, again, 10 plus 13, which is 23, or if you retire the card, 28. So this card was very versatile in helping me create numbers. I wish I had more room to play more of this, but I just needed to have a high meteor count in order to consistently see it. I didn't really care too much about using its effect to place meteors from hand into the drop zone, or rather, the order zone. But at the end of the day, like I said, it's mainly here as like a booster that could also serve as an attacker that helps to make numbers. And then, obviously, 4 perfect guards because we want to live. Now, moving on to the orders, and playing the 1 Eclipse Moonlight, you don't really need to see, or you don't really need to play any more than 1 because it does cost a counterblast, and most of the time you do want to just use your counterblast for your grade 3 Gravidia Nordlinger, and also it's a non-shield, so while the 15k body is nice, the additional counterblast and it being a non-shield was enough for me to just only keep this at the 1. I think twice during the tournament I drew this into my opening hand, so I wasn't able to search, which does feel bad, but you know, it is what it is. As for meteors, I am playing 4 of the Fallen Hell Hazards and then 7 of the Neatness Meteor Shower for a total of 11 meteors. Max out on the grade 2 meteors just because it counts as 2 and it comes in clutch for getting you to 5 if you need it, or if you're running low on resources, say you don't have that many, you know, meteors or grade 1 meteors left. One of this and one of this is still 3, which gets you 15k in a crit, which is still very threatening for your opponent. And I have thought about upping the count of the meteors to 8, and also thought about bumping it down to 6. However, bumping it to 8 in testing, I just saw it way too much, and I just died from having too many non-shields. But playing it at 6, I just didn't see it enough, and I pretty much had to rely on using Shergo in order to search it out again. So 7 just felt right for me. It might be, you know, better for you to play 6, better for you to play 8, but overall, this is the count that I decided. I was heavily leaning towards just playing the 6 and playing in additional wells, but at the end I just went with discount and it served me well. Moving on to triggers, I am playing 7 crit, 4 front, 4 heals, and then the 1 Brand Gate over trigger. I decided to max out on the 20k front because it is additional shield. And again, because I thought I was going to play against a lot of Magnolias, I even thought I was going to see Barrow, I felt that I needed as much shield that I could possibly squeeze. So this was the lineup that I went with. It went pretty well. I didn't say there's much of a difference between playing 8 crit and 7 crit. However, it's just personal preference at that point. I just felt that having, the front was a lot better than having the extra vanilla crit. Alright, and that is it for my Gravidia World deck profile that I used to get top 8. Again, I am coming out with a vlog for my Springfest experience, so be on the lookout for that. But other than that, look forward into the future for more deck profiles, and see you later.